Hello, everybody. This is Georgiana and Meredith from Creativity for Kids. And today we will be unboxing and playing with the Sensory Bin Garden and Critters. So go ahead, Miss Meredith, and take it away.
Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us. Like Georgiana said, we're going to be opening up our sensory bin that deals with garden and critters. So let's go ahead and see what's inside. All right, so our bin opens up and it's perfect for storage. So we'll just put the top over here for later when it's time to put everything away. In here we have, we'll take this out. We don't need that. In here we have a whole bunch of fun things to play with. So we've got our shovel for scooping. We have our tweezers for picking things up. And it's really fun because you can just pinch them together and pick up things like that. We have our grasshopper, a couple flowers, and these are really light, foamy flowers, but they've got a really cool texture. You can kind of see, I'll move them around a little bit, and you can see that there's some fun texture to run your fingers over. 3 flowers, a dragonfly. Ooh. Our ladybug. Ooh, I think this is a cricket. Oh, a shiny golden black ant. And our buddy the bumblebee. So we have all of these fun little bugs to play with. Our flowers, a flower pot. These look like some seeds here. We'll open those up and put them in our flower pot. Our handy dandy instructions. And then in here we have some actual real natural stones. And then this is our sensory sand. So you get a whole bunch of sensory sand, 2 colors. So you can make 2 different little environments in your bin to play with. So let's go ahead and open that up, and we'll start placing things in our bin so we can start playing. All right, so we'll open up our green sensory sand first. Now, sensory sand is really cool because it has something in it that helps it stay molded. Like you can shape things with it and it will hold the shape for a while. And you don't have to add any water or anything. You just squeeze it together with your fingers. So I'm gonna just push it down, break it apart with my fingers. And you can do this too at home if you have this kit. So it's pretty neat. Like I said, you can kind of just squeeze it together like this, and it'll actually stay like that. So it's almost like a combination of like clay and sand, but it's not as sticky as clay. And it kind of, it's got that sandy texture to it. So it's really fun to play with in your hands. So here's our brown, kind of like sandy dirt. And then over here's our green. And in my imagination, the green is more like grass. And the brown is more like our soil. So I'll just break all of this up, and I'm going to keep them separated for now. And you can mix them if you want, but for me, I'm going to keep them a little bit separate for now. So, and basically what this kit is all about is just exploring your different senses and exploring with your hands. So you can move things and kind of like just run your hands over the sand and stuff just to get the different feels of what's inside. So I'm like just pushing it down over here and then keeping this nice and loose. And I'm going to start by putting some items in our bin. So I'm going to pretend that I'm a gardener. And actually in real life, I really do like to garden. And I have a flower garden. And what you do when you start a garden is you take seeds like this. And these are actually not seeds. These just look like seeds. These are actually little wooden beads, but they represent the seeds. So what you do when you are starting a garden is you get soil and then you kind of poke a little hole in the soil and you put your seed in and then you cover it up. And you leave a little space and then put another hole and put a seed in and you cover it up. And maybe one more like that, and cover it up. So you could just plant seeds in the ground just like that. Or if you wanted, you can take soil in something like this in a little flower pot. You put soil in. And then you put a little hole, you put your seed, and then you cover it up, just like the ones that you would put in the soil outside. And then what you do is you water it. You take, like, we'll pretend this is a watering can. You would water it, and then the sun would come out. We'll pretend this is the sun. And the sun comes out and gives your little seed some sunshine after it's been rained on. And then what happens? Pop, pop, pop. The flowers, they sprout from the earth. And it's really fun if you've never planted a seed before. It's really fun to plant a seed and to take care of it and watch as it slowly grows and grows and grows until it grows into a flower, or maybe you're growing tomatoes or other vegetables like that. So being a gardener is fun. All right, so I'm going to put the rest of my little seeds over here. And I'm going to get, oh, isn't that cool? See, it takes the shape of whatever you put the sand in. So it's just really neat. So let's find that seed. Here it is. All right. So I don't know about you guys, but I am going to make a little story about what we have in our sensory bin. And I might ask you guys for some help with my story. So looking at everything we have in front of us, we have our bugs, our little cricket, ladybug, dragonfly, bumblebee, our grasshopper, our ant, and then all of our stones. We have our flower pot and our flowers. So let's start the story. And how I'm going to start it is I'm going to tell you the story of our little ladybug. So one day, Miss Ladybug was crawling through the grass, and she was singing a song and having a wonderful day. And all of a sudden, she heard something. And do you know what she heard? Do you think it was the bumblebee? Do you think it was the grasshopper? Or do you think it was the ant? She heard someone say, hello. Let's see. Does anyone out there know who said hello? Was it the bee? Was it the grasshopper? Or was it our little friendly ant? Let's see if we have anybody who wants to play and add to our story. Oh, it looks like the bee. So I'll start again. Our little friendly ladybug was walking along in the grass, and all of a sudden she heard the bee say, hello, hi ladybug, how are you today? And our ladybug responded, oh, I'm doing so well, but I am super duper hot out here in the sun. Do you happen to know where I could find a flower where I could get some shade? And the bumblebee said, sure, you can fly, or you can come right over here. There's a flower right here. And so the ladybug and the bee went over to the flower. Now, when they got there, they heard something rustling in the grass. Do you think it was our ant or our grasshopper who was rustling around in the grass? Do I have any friends out there who would like to play along and tell me if they heard the grasshopper or the ant? No, I don't see anyone yet. Georgiana, who do you think it was?
I would say the grasshopper would be rustling around in the grass.
I think you're right. It was the grasshopper. And grasshopper said, hi, guys. Hello, Mr. Bee. Hello, Miss Ladybug. Where are you guys going? And the ladybug said, well, we were just looking for some shade by a flower. And the bumblebee said, well, that's where I was going too, but now it's time for me to fly away over to my hive and hang out with my buddies in my hive. So it's just you and me, grasshopper. And so the grasshopper and the ladybug went off on their own little adventure without the bee. So that's just one way that you can use your sensory bin to create a story. And it's really fun if you have friends to kind of add to the story, like how Georgiana helped me add to the story and how my friend out there was able to add to the story. So thank you for participating. Now, while I was telling this story, I was pushing our little bugs into the sand, and something cool happened. The sand actually took the shape of our bug. So I'm gonna smooth out the surface of our sand, and I'm going to push one of our bugs into the sand and see if it leaves an imprint. And let's see. Ooh, yeah. That worked really well. I'm going to hold this up so you can see it too. So this is really fun. I love sensory sand. So let's see what else creates a fun imprint. That was our dragonfly. I'm going to put our ant in here too. And our bumblebee. our friendly bumblebee who likes flowers, and our grasshopper, and our ladybug, and I think, oops, I think I'll put the dragonfly back in too. So this is really fun. It's basically like you're creating a piece of art just by pushing all of your little buggies into the sand. And I think maybe I'll put some of these fun little beads in as little details. Ooh, that just jumped right across the room. Slippery little suckers. Let's see. All right, so this is what they look like right now. So let's remove them one by one and see what imprint they left. Ooh, I love it when you can see the details of the wings. And in mine, you can see the details of the wings. It's really cool. All right, here's our ladybug. Cool. And our grasshopper. Oh, that's really neat. So the little lines on the back of the grasshopper actually were imprinted into the sand. And our ant, ooh, and that one's really cool too, because all of those lines on our ant through his back, you can see those imprinted into the sand too. And then our dragonfly. I think the dragonfly is my favorite. So just like that, you can create your own piece of art. Oh, I forgot the Cricut. We'll put the Cricut in too. You can create your own piece of art just by pushing things into the sand. And in real life, when you find stones or earth with imprints from, like, I don't know, bugs or shells, there's actually a name for that. Georgiana, do you know what that is?
I do not.
It's kind of like, you know, when they find dinosaur bones.
Like a fossil?
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking, the fossil. All right, so now that we have this really cool setup over here, I think I'm going to go ahead and use our stones and create a little bit of a border. So I'm just going to put them in between the brown and the green sand, just like this, and stick them in. And why I'm creating this border is because in my imagination, this is a garden, and this side, this is where all of our little seeds have been planted. And I have to protect this area from any little critters like bunnies or squirrels or chipmunks, or even my dog who might come and dig it all up. So we're creating a little bit of a border, and then I'll replant our seeds. We'll put one here, there, 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 and drop. Boop, loop, loop, and two more. One, oops, 1 and 2. And then, like we did before, we cover them up. So we're protecting our garden from our little critter friends. And not only are the stones going to protect my garden, but so is my little fleet of bug friends. So I'm going to put the bugs here too. And they're all going to be facing that way. So our little critters will stay over here and play in the grass. instead of trying to come over here and dig up all of our seeds, because that is something that has definitely happened. There we go. And maybe over here, this is where flowers are. And so my little puppy dog will want to hang out in the flower area rather than the dirt area anyway. So that is that. Now, let's see how good you are using little tweezers like this. Now, these are super duper fun. So all you do is you just squeeze them together, and that's how you can pick things up. So it's kind of like if you don't want to pick a bug up with your fingers, these are super helpful. And let's just gather our bugs up and put them in our little flower pot. Maybe we'll count as we do it. Okay, come back out here. All right, ready? Let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bugs. 6 very friendly insects and bugs. Now, how many stones do you think we have? Let's take our bugs out. All right, friends out there, what number of stones do you think we have that I have not used yet? Does anyone have a guess as to how many stones I might have? If you do, you can go ahead and have someone type that in for you, and we'll see if you're close to the amount that we actually have. Oh, I think I see Lindsay said 8. And another one of my friends said 25. Ooh, okay. Let's go ahead and count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we just counted 8. Lindsay, do you want to change your number? Because there's a lot more here now. We'll keep counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Wow. 24. So my other friend out there was very, very close because they guessed 25. All right. So with 25 rocks, I bet I could spell something out, or maybe even just make my initials. So I'm going to move my flowers out of the way. And I'm going to dump my rocks into my sand. So my initial, my first name is Meredith. So I'm going to see about how I can make the letter M in our sand. So actually, I think I'll move all of our rocks out of the way. We'll just put them back in this corner here. And I'm using my shovel to do that because I haven't used my shovel yet, but it's very, very good for moving large amounts of items like all of these stones and seeds. I can move over into the corner all at one time. There we go. Come here, you little seed. And you little seed. And I think I'm just gonna smooth out all of those really cool bug imprints. I can use the shovel, the back of the shovel, just to smooth it all out like that. And then what I'm gonna do, smooth it out with my hands, because that feels really neat. But I need to make the letter M. And I'm gonna draw it out with, I think I'll use the edge of my shovel because an M has, a capital M has all straight lines. So I'll just draw it out with my shovel. And then I can decorate it with my rocks. So this is going to be a very cool garden initial. Oop, come here, you little stone. I'm going to use the seeds too, because I don't want to run out of stones. I might run out of stones anyway, though. And then I'll have to use my little barrier to create my M. So this is something you can do at home too. So all you have to do is flatten out your sand and then draw the first letter of your name into the sand and then use your tweezers to pick up and push all of the little rocks over top of your letter, and it'll look really cool like this. And then you can decorate around it using your little bugs or maybe your flowers, whatever you would like. And maybe you like to draw, so you could actually like draw little flowers or little bugs in the sand too. Just like that. And if you don't want to use your tweezers, that's okay. You can just use your fingers and just push them down like that too. It's a little bit more challenging to use the tweezers, but it is really fun. Oh, look at that. I have plenty. I'm not going to have to take my line of rocks down. There we go. Yay. Okay, so M for Meredith. M for marigold. That's a type of flower. All right, the next thing I want to do is something that's actually suggested in our instructions, and it's a really fun game to play. We're going to just move all of our rocks over to the side, and I'm going to see if my friends out there, if you would like to play with me. And it's basically hide and seek. So I'm going to put all of our items into the bin. And you have a couple seconds here to take a look at what is in the bin. And then I'm going to take something away from the bin. And then you get to guess, what did I move out of the bin? All right, so I'll give you guys 10 seconds to look at the bin and see everything that's in the bin. So I could take out a rock. I could take out a flower. I could take out one of the bugs. So everything, take a look and see what's in the bin. And close your eyes. On the count of 3, I'm going to take something out of the bin. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Who knows what I took out of the bin? It's in my hand. I'm not going to open up my hand. I'm going to let you guys have a couple seconds to guess what's missing from the bin. Oh, Lindsay guessed a spider. Do we have any other friends out there who want to guess what's missing from the bin? Georgiana, do you know what's missing from the bin?
I'm gonna guess a rock.
Oh, okay. So we have two guesses, a spider and a rock. All right. Should I open up my hand and show you guys what I have? Ta-da! It's the ant. Lindsay, you were very close, and it could look like a spider from a little bit of a distance. So we'll just say you're correct. There we go. So other fun things that you can do is count all of the objects. Or, like we did, you can make up a little story about the different flowers or name all of your little bugs. If we were to come up with a name for our friendly ladybug, what do you think it would be? If you have a thought as to what our ladybug's name is, go ahead and let me know. And maybe we'll name all of our bugs, but let's just start with our ladybug. What's our ladybug's name? Da, 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 da. Ladybug likes to dance, by the way. Look at Ladybug go. Oh, hi. I'm breakdancing. Oh, Big Red. Big Red Ladybug. Hi. Hi, Big Red. I like it. Wiggles, is it because Ladybug likes to dance? Oh, look at that. Ladybug is acting like my dog when I come home from work and my doggie sees me and she wiggles, 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 wiggles because she's so happy. So we have Wiggles, we have Big Red. Is there anybody else who has a guess as to what our ladybug should be named? Well, it looks like we'll go with Big Red this time. Thank you guys for typing in. All right, so we'll put Big Red here, and maybe our little ant is called Wiggles. Wiggles and Big Red. That would be a wonderful way to start a story about our garden bin. All right, so before we wrap things up, I'm going to do something that I've been wanting to do this whole time. And I just really want to use my shovel and fill up my little flower pot with the green sensory sand. So you can kind of, after you put your sensory sand in your bin and it stays there for a little while, it kind of takes the shape of the bin. So I'm just using the shovel to kind of just break it up a little bit so it's a little looser. Shoo, shoo, there we go. And I'm going to use my shovel as if I'm at the beach and just shovel up my sand and put it in. There we go. It's kind of like a green milkshake, but a green milkshake for plants. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm going to take one of my flowers and plant it. Ta-da! Oh, that's cute. And plant it in my flower pot. Look how sweet that is. So now you could set it up on display. Even after you close up your bin and you're done playing, you can still have your little flower in your flower pot out on your table. That's fun. Ooh, I just love that. Ooh, what else could you do with a shape like this? Ooh, let's try one more thing before we go. All right, so I'm going to move things out of the way. And this is one thing I really love about all of our sensory bins. Once you start playing and using your imagination, you just want to keep playing and you just want to keep exploring what else you can do with this awesome sensory sand and your rocks and your insects and your flowers and your shovel and everything. So what I want to do now, I just want to create a couple of those cool shapes that we just created by using the flower pot. So all I'm going to do is just push the sand into the flower pot. and make it come out like that. And hopefully it stays together long enough for me to make 3 of them. And then I can kind of make a cool little fort for my bug for Big Red. It'll be Big Red's fort. Oh, that came out pretty quickly. So 1, 2, and then I need to put one on top of those 2. I have to make it about the same size as at least one of the other ones. There we go. So 2 here, 1, 2, and that one on top. Oh, now it's falling apart. There we go. Well, we'll put Big Red on top of his castle that's kind of crumbling beneath him. But don't worry, that's just how things go in the garden. You have to just rebuild when things fall apart. Yay, fun. All right, so something I didn't mention. If you do not have this kit at home, but you saw how fun it was to play, I highly recommend going to your local Michael's store and grabbing a bin and then some items that you would like to play with inside a bin as a little sensory experience. Now, this sensory sand is really cool. Like I said, you can mold it. You can just let it fall through your fingers. You can make imprints of bugs. You can shovel it. All of these really cool things. So just grab a couple items and you could make your own little sensory bin. But this set is pretty wonderful because it comes with all of these unique items that you might not be able to find elsewhere. So friends, thank you so much for joining me today for our Garden and Critters sensory bin. And we have a whole line of these sensory bins at Michael's. So if you wanted to check out some other ones, we have a really cute bake shop. We have a race car one. We've got plenty of them to choose from. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Have a wonderful day. Bye.